Hey everyone, have you ever wondered how companies analyze massive amount of data stored in cloud storage without setting up expensive databases? Today, we are going to deep dive into Azure Synapse Analytics Serverless SQL Pool, a game-changing technology that lets you query data like files using simple SQL without any infrastructural setup. Whether you're a student learning cloud technologies or a professional working with big data, this video will a complete understanding of how serverless SQL pool works. By end of this video, you will understand how to query different file types in a data lake using SQL. Also, you will understand how to transform data efficiently. Also, you'll know how to create lake database for better data organization. Let's get started. First, we need to understand how the serverless SQL pool helps us to query the files in the data lake. First, we are focusing on the Azure Synapse Analytics, which offers us a SQL pool, but we are focusing on serverless SQL pools today. Think of it in this way. Traditionally, if you wanted to query the data, you would need to set up a database server, load your data into it, and pay for that server 24/7. But with the serverless SQL pool, you can query files directly into a data lake storage, just like the CSV files, JSON files, or the Parquet files, without loading them anywhere. You only need to pay for the queries you run, not for any servers sitting idle. Let's have a real world example so that you can understand this concept even more better. Imagine you're working for an e-commerce company. Your sales data is stored as a CSV file in Azure storage. Instead of importing terabytes of data into a database, you can simply write SQL queries against those files directly. It's like having a database without actually having one. That's how the serverless SQL pool works. And you can see the major differences between the serverless SQL pool and the dedicated SQL pool in this diagram. Next comes with querying different file formats. And for that, we use the OPENROWSET function, which is our new best friend. Let's talk about how we actually query these files. The magic happens with the help of OPENROWSET function. This is our gateway to reading data from the files. Let's start with a CSV file, probably the most common format we'll be working with. Here is a simple example for it. If you see in the code which we have here, we have the OpenROSET function where we have certain parameters which starts with a bulk, which says this is where we actually specify our file path. And we can also notice a asterisk here, which means this asterisk is a wildcard which says to select all the CSV file in that folder. And we also have other parameter saying format, where we are telling it we are reading a CSV file. And also with the help of with clause, we'll be able to define the structure, like what column exists and what data types they are. And next comes with the querying of JSON files. JSON files are a bit trickier because they have nested structures. Here is how you handle them. If you see this particular piece of code, we select each JSON values that are present inside the databases with the help of JSON underscore value keyword. And if you see the format here, it is mentioned as CSV. And we are reading each JSON object as a single text box, then using the JSON value keyword to extract a specific property. The special terminators like the field terminators, field code, row terminators, we are able to ensure each JSON object is treated as a single row. So that is how the JSON files are queried in the serverless SQL pool. And next comes with the Parquet format. Parquet format are the most efficient format for big data. They are compressed and columnar, which makes queries super fast. If you see the code, it's very simple. We can use the file path to filter by the folder structure. and this is called partition pruning. It means we only read the files we need, making queries lightning fast. And the next section comes with creating the external database objects. Writing OpenROSET every time gets tedious. What if you could create tables that automatically point to your files? That's where the external table object comes in. The four building blocks are here. Think of it as a building a house with four components, where the first component is about the database. This is our container for everything else. And next comes with the credentials part, where it acts as a key card. It gives us secure access to our storage account. And next comes with an external database. This defines where our files are stored. It's like saving a book card. Next comes with the external file format. This tells the system how to read the files. And you can see the code for that here. And the next piece of code tells us how to create an external table. Now we bring all the four components in order to create an external table. And after creating an external table, you can query it in a regular table like a dbo.products by selecting any particular tables that the particular columns that are present inside the table. Have a small knowledge check here, and you can go through the answers for that by pausing the video. And next we are going to jump into transformation of data using CETAS. CETAS here is nothing but create external table as select. It's a mouthful, but it's an incredible powerful. It lets you transform data and save the results as a new files. Let's say you have the sales data with thousands of different order types, but you only care about special orders for a report. And if you see the piece of code, it tells you how to do it. You create an external table with a special order, and with the help of with class, you are specifying the details for storing the result. And then you're selecting the particular column names that you want. And then with the help of OpenROSET function, you're defining the details from which the source files need to be read. And then you mention the order type as special order. So this query reads your source file, filters for special orders, and saves the results in a new Parquet file. This can also be done with the help of stored procedure. For the production workforce, wrap your CETAs into a stored procedures, and that can be done with the help of this piece of code. An important note that we need to remember here is dropping the external table doesn't delete the actual files, it just the table definition. So that's one of the important concepts that we need to remember in the stored procedure. And the next comes with the data lake tables. The data lake is the best for both worlds. Your data stays as files in the tables, and also you get a proper relational database structure. You can query using SQL or Apache Spark. There are three main components which are important here. The three main components are schema, storage, and compute. Schema refers to a proper relational database with a relationship, keys, and constraint. Storage refers to files remain in your data lake. Compute refers to your query using serverless SQL pool or Spark pool. And we have the database template here, which says Azure provides a ready-made templates for common scenarios like retail databases, healthcare databases, manufacturing databases, and etc. You can start with these templates and customize it for your needs. And next comes with designer, where there are visual designers in the Azure Synapse Studios, which you can drag and drop and define the columns and set the relationship between the tables. And next comes with querying the data lakes. You will using the data lakes, we can use two types of languages, which is PySpark and also the SQL, which you can see that in this PPT. we have a small knowledge check here. You can pause this video and check for the concept. Here is a small recap of what we have learned. SQL serverless pools lets us to query the data lake files without setting up infrastructure, and also the OpenROSET has a main functions for reading the CSV, JSON, and also the Parquet files. External database objects makes querying easier and more organized. And we also saw about the CETAS functions and also the Lake database. If you want to try this yourself, Microsoft provides a free sandbox environment. You can search on the internet for that. Whether you're preparing for Azure certification, working on the data engineering projects, or just exploring cloud technologies, serverless SQL pools are essential skills to have on the 2025. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.